Thank you, Lord, for all you have done. If I don't thank you, I would be so ungrateful. What a young, thank you, Lord, for all you have done. If I don't thank you, I would be so ungrateful. Thank you, Jesus. Holy Kanyo. Tato. Hey, Tato. 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 Kanyo Wario. There is no other God. Every other God is also contemplate. I try to feel me. I try every other God, and they all let me down. They'll say I should get something for something. That's enough on the sacrifice before they can bless me. Or they submit to you. You never asked before I died. You keep on showering your blessings all over me. If I don't praise you, if I don't worship you, what's the one to pay? You can't let me to pay. I don't. Yes, I don't. Tato, one kind of warrior. Tato, hey, Tato, 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 one kind of warrior. You are the light, you are my light.
Good evening, folks. We want to welcome. Okay, let me get this on here. So just bear with me. All right, today I believe the audio is okay. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe, wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. As usual, I am Afonso Zienso. Stay tuned. We want to get this program going.
If I don't praise you, who else will I praise? If I don't worship you, who else will I worship? Hey, what's the matter to be? You can't let me talk to you. You so no fire warrior. I don't. Yes, I don't. I get to pay. I don't. You wanna pray, don't. Fire warrior. I don't. Yes, I don't. Yes, I don't. You wanna pray.
Oh man, what a beautiful song that by Minister Abinant Johnson. It's a Liberian gospel artist based in the UK, United Kingdom, making a contribution here this evening. Time check is 8:04 Eastern Standard Time. This is your informative news magazine, The Forum. It comes your way right here on the Liberia Public Radio. There's a change into our programs, and I will keep you up to speed. I want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you, wherever you are. Invite someone at your company. That is unfolding in our country and other places in the world. But strictly, we're going to be looking at some issues in Liberia. And as usual, my analysts, political analysts of the Liberia Public Radio, contributors, they're going to be here. We're going to decide what is happening to give their views, analysis, on the unfolding situations in Liberia. It seems the aftermath of the May 10 senatorial elections is digging up a lot of happenings in the country. Representative Akara's Moses Gray, in his recent interview, is calling potentially for the dissolutions of the cabinet of the Republic of Liberia. Gray is a high-profile insider of the ruling establishment, that's the Congress for Democratic Change, coalition government. We are serious and concerned here the assertions or views of Akara's Gray. Who is pushing this line? Or is that the another versions of the aftermath of the midterm? It's a fair, really, all of our arguments here within the media and talking points all over the place. The two persons seems to be responsible for what is unfolding. That's the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, the Honorable Minister Nathaniel Falamagi, and the Finance and Development Minister Samuel Tue. Is it fair? Or how are we coming to this conclusion? When there's a sitting president, under the constitutions of the Republic of Liberia, the president has the authority to appoint and dismiss. So, is the president not saying, as been alleged by other Liberians and free thinker the behavior presumably by these people? So why should we always point finger at them? And when the Representative Akara's Gray has come to the realization, as he alleged, now and calling that the president could or should potentially dissolve the cabinet. Is that the only problem? The cabinet? What's about the legislative branch of government? What's about the judiciary? The three branches of government should all be visited or overhauled. But you see, Akara Gray is a guy who loves to be in the eyes of the media. You know, I know, he loves the media, and that's a good thing. And that's what politicians, because the more you get accustomed with the media, the more they take your talking point. So let's see here. I'm trying to see. Hopefully, I get this here. Wow, this video I can see here. I want to see here his recent interview, as a matter of fact. Or we're going to go back to see, depending on who you talk to, he's been viewed as one of the divisive politicians. Sometimes with careless statement, but that's politicians, they are just politicians. All right, so let's see here. We'll see whether we can get this video here. If not, during the course of the program, I want to bring it. But let me just bring something here way down the line. When he been in the vanguard as one of the persons who was always speaking for the ruling establishment. Let me bring this here. May his soul rest in peace. Mamadi Keita did this interview with Akara's Grace. So let's see if we can give a sense some of his talking point. And then we will be able to do. Okay, let me just go to this one here first, and we to give you a sense of what Akara Gray was saying. Let's play this here.
Yeah. The Council of Generals appointed under the past administration. There are some countries you still are going first, we will not even know. We need to write all foreign
countries. Now, all of these people, the foreign ministry, have to bring all of them back and vet them. Some of these people are not selling the information. So, I see people, for example, in Japan, and some other areas, I see people working in the embassy, writing statements against the government. It doesn't have, diplomats don't get involved into politics. I see them. There are people who are just sitting in foreign land with their children. They're not to be ambassadors. Minister, council, and other areas, they sit around the world and the bottom of the administration. The president needs to appoint commercial attaches that will attract investors to all the embassies, all of this country, Japan, China. If they are not performing, take the job from them. They don't attract more investors. The embassy got to get involved into that. So all of these people, we need to bring them back home. I'm not saying dismiss them, because to dismiss ambassadors, you have to take some time. Okay, because those are veterans. They are deputies, for example. People that are out there, some of these people on a presidential administration, they just collected there, they told their children what's over, they eat the embassy. They undermining the governance part of our country, they go sit in meetings to talk bad about the government. Everybody will be shocked. So we need to bring them home here. If the need be to revert them, if the need be to send even some of our people to be grown. There are drill areas in the embassies where people are being grown. From top town, from top town up to now, there are cadets. Okay, some of our kids can go and start the cadets job to grow up in the diplomatic cycle. It's very important. Since some of these children out of the country in Africa, schools are cheap in Rwanda, for example, university education, for example, not more than 3,000 US annually. I'm telling you, if you spend 5,000 US, it's good. Even feeding everything, 5,000 US also universities in Rwanda, even in East Africa. Okay, so we need to concentrate on our base. We need to concentrate on youth programs in our country. We need to revisit the water program. Every individual will take our guys away from us along the water program. We cannot neglect that, because most of them are our own people. Okay, so we need to do more. I want to encourage our friends in the executive. When you see us being robust, it's not a malice, okay, against us. It's not a malice against Central. Not a malice against Magiro. Close up to the president now. They have the president years. They need to step up their games. They need to do more. They need to look at a spade and call a spade a spade. Some of these people, they ministers, are some of them, they managing directors. They just take family members and carry them to land ministers and agencies in this country. People who don't even believe in the struggle. We need to expose them. Okay, we need to revisit even the capital building, for example, the central administration. They're who don't come to work. There are a lot of post names. We inherited. People sit in the capital building, for example, the top politicians, so that they don't go to their offices. I'm not talking about staffers. Talking about central administration, for example, some of the lawmakers just told people and went and dashed them there. We need a comprehensive cleanup of the entire central administration. I don't say take jobs from people, but those things you got to take it out. They are not pushing for taking delivery, and people must go to their offices and serve in their offices and work from their offices. Not to be in the capital building yard and make the entire yard noise. We even got to be on the security. You saw it last time. I keep on going and saying, "Yeah, I just like into that building and put the building on fire." So we need top-notch security protection of the capital building. It's very important, because we are moving in critical time where somebody could run into your office, dismantle people, and put that place on fire or shoot you up. Okay, so we will be very careful. The message is clear. The ratings are on the line. I want to appreciate our friends in the cyberspace there, KMTV, or the other TV, Spoon TV also. Want to appreciate each and every one of you for coming to my beautiful home. And again, let me say it, I say a beautiful home, because I understand where for it. And I know what thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Let me see here. Just bear with us yet. Okay, that's let me just hold on 1 second. All right. Let's see here. That's Representative Gray. Hopefully it's audible and there's nothing behind it. All right. Let me see here. This here. Okay. Sorry, folks. That was another video in the background there. Okay, there you go. One of our contributor is standing by here, senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. But I want to show something else here before bringing in Pat Joyce here. Let me roll this one here. That was in 2014. In an interview, may his soul rest in peace, Mamadi Daketa with Akara's Moses Gray. Let's see this here and see.
I can make a research. No, go ahead. I like that. Okay. When it's an act of voluntarily abstaining, it's not forceful. But on a very serious note, I committed myself that if the university is not open, I didn't say if the University of Liberia is not open, then I will attend. So once the university is now open, and my understanding is that the university was open yesterday. Also, I couldn't have gone there to listen to a political recitation. And when the grounds of the university, I listened to you yesterday, the grounds of the Capitol building, you said maybe the word desecration. In a usual understanding, whenever the person is fulfilling Article 58 of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, it's not a political ground where people carry party paraphernalia. I would chair the person.
But I want you to state your rationale. Why you
I'm just saying that's one of the reasons also.
So, but you did not anticipate, you did not know that it was going.
I knew not very much.
No, listen, Honorable Gray, you did not state in your protest before the protests were effective. You did not state that you're not going because there would be.
I said they got no reason.
Yeah, was the
boycott was the issue of the university. Okay. That was the cotton. There are other reasons also. I'm a politician, and I know what happens exactly. I knew that the person was going to have a political recitation also. Almost 90% of the person said she has said that before. Okay, you can go back to the record. Go back to 2006.
Okay, that was Honorable Akara's Moses Gray. He's long been the vanguard, been the forceful voice from the CDC. Okay, let me bring in Mr. Amos George. He's a senior contributor to the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. He's standing by in Atlanta, Georgia. And the rest of the folks are going to be joining us here. To all our beautiful viewers and listeners, welcome to this event broadcast. Let's see here. Let me bring in Pat George here. Pat George, good evening and welcome.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. So, it seems after the May 10 senatorial elections, which the ruling establishment was really badly hit by the opposition coalitions, a lot of things getting out there. Akara's Grain, according to Front Page Africa, in an interview with the local network and part of the first video there, is potentially asking the government, if need be, to have the cabinet dissolve. Those are very strange words. Is that a therapeutical process he's going in, or is this someone is telling Akara Gray to go out there to do the dirty work?
Mr. To, I don't know, because I think Akara Gray, I think he's chairman on executive on the host committee. I think he's the chairman on executive. And so I don't know. I'm a little bit confused. From what point is he speaking from? Is he speaking as member of the CDC, or as someone who are just concerned about the way things went during the last election? Or is he speaking as, like, because I don't know whether he's having consultation with the president. So I'm a little bit confused. One,
is it in isolation?
Well, I mean, I don't know, because I can't say, because there's nobody from the party or from the government saying anything. So I may want to conclude that maybe he's been put out there to say some things, because if the party is not responding, the government is not responding, So then I don't know what is going. What Akara is just speaking as an individual who's concerned, or is he speaking for some wing of the party? Because Akara Grace and the chairman Molo and Jefferson Kuti, that's another wing of the party. So I don't know whether he's speaking for that wing, because Samuel Tuer and Natalia Mangeo, those are not a different group. So you heard him stated last time that the minister will call for help. So I don't know why he's speaking from the part from that wing, or is it some kind of split within the organization? So I really can't put my hand around it. Or he just maybe drained it to gain some attention. I don't know.
So yeah, it's an interesting thing here. I'm very careful when politicians are speaking. They speak in an esoteric tone. They speak in a specific tone. You have to go a little bit much deeper to get the context in which they are speaking. And Akara uses the word, for example, multiple times in that interview. The word example as a politician, the context in which he tries to apply it, basically is calling for consolidation to see, and he knows very well things has gone wrong. Akara Grace and Joseph, they came out in the political theater, we're going to win this. If we can't get this, I will not seek re-elections. I will not do this. I will not do that. So I'm wondering here, what is the recovery process, what they are in? But the word example, for example, constantly being used, it's a reminder that something is not taking place, and they are trying to call on the standard bearer. Is he the rightful person to articulate, to get this message, or fair to give it to him? It's a high insider profile of the ruling establishment, the CDC.
The first thing I want to know, what is Akaya good rapport with the president right now, and with that of the executive of the party? So, if he is in good rapport with the president, I think I would think that he will go to have a discussion with the president. But coming on now to say he wants the government to be, the cabinet to be diluted and this and that, I'm wondering, is he frustrated or what? Because
what will you use that? Why will you say is he frustrated?
Because if this man is part of the executive and the party just support defeat, and to go, if they want to recalibrate or rebrand, whatever phrase you want to use, I think Akara should meet with the executive of the party and that of the president to see how they can discuss it in house. But I don't know whether he had done that and nobody listened to it, so maybe he decided to take it to the public. I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
There are so many channels in which politicians can speak in order to raise that sort of red flag. Akara's Gray. You remember after that tape that surfaced from Moluba Molu, Akara Gray and other people they formed a coalition. They were more or less moving on their own until things came back to okay, but let me just welcome the professor himself. Professor Asese Labozawo is a senior contributor to the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv, joining us here from Maryland, Baltimore. I'm not sure because you saw Professor Zawo coming in, for which you decided to give an early provocation that Akara's Gray is frustrated. Don't take me for my word. Professor, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. So. Good evening, Mr. George, and good evening to the listening audience. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
All right. So it seems to be like a loose cannon is on the rampage right now. I don't know, seeking for shelter or trying to galvanize or bring back those lost sheep. Akara's Gray now is in the media again. The guy, he lost Bembe before the camera. He's calling for a potential dissolution of the cabinet, using the word for example, multiple times. Bring them back home. They took their children and they are all there. We need to revet them. We need to send our people. Who are those people? I do not know. what is going on within the ruling establishment? Who is sending Akara's grave out there? Is that somebody you think from the higher up? Go blow it up, and we will follow suit.
No, Akara's grave is a member of the executive committee of the CDC. First, by virtue of the fact that he's a member of the House of Representatives, so there can be no higher up than Akara's grade. He's in the very highest echelon of the party. And, it's a kind of like catch-22 thing here. If Akara Gray doesn't speak out, then seditionists are ignoring the plight of the people. They do not want to accept defeat, and they take full responsibility for the defeat. When Akara Gray speaks out, then again, he's expressing words of frustration. No, I think what Honorable Gray has accentuated is the feelings of ordinary citizens who believe that somewhere along the way, our government has been hijacked by non-CDC elements. And it behooves.
You say, hold on 1 second. You say your government is being hijacked?
I said there are some seditionists, not my words. I said there are some seditionists who believe that the government or our government has been hijacked by some counter-progressive, anti-revolutionary elements. And these elements are stifling the progress of the people. We had an agenda for prosperity. And even though I do not share most of the sentiments expressed by sedition that a dismissal en masse of officials in government who are not from the CDC is a panacea to the challenges facing our government. I do not share that belief. I still believe that when I joined the CDC, I wasn't advocating for the CDC so that Janine Kopo would be a Minister of Agriculture. Had I known that was going to be the case, perhaps I would not have been a citizen. And so that's a feeling felt by a lot of citizens. And I think what Akara's Gray is doing is inviting attention to something that people have been saying. And so he wants us to sit down and discuss it. And I don't think anything wrong with it. Look, our party is doing something different. This time, we're accepting defeat, and we are not saying that Darius Dillon did not win the elections. We are accepting that he won us because perhaps he's doing what we are not doing. In order for us to do what we said we're going to do, we believe that those people who are in the front must be people who understand the people's struggle. There are so many people I think in government who I don't find them to be representative of the ordinary Liberian masses. And those are real concerns that citizens have. I don't agree with some of them, but I do have concerns with some of the people who are serving our government.
Okay. I will be good for you. Let's welcome our own contributor, Mr. Antonin Gay, is in Philadelphia, PA. Mr. Gay, welcome. Thank you. I don't think we had a chance here, and it's at your own word of pleasure. Are you willing to declare who you are, your identity, to what your interest is? Professor Zawa is known. Amos George, he said he's independent. I'm not sure whether Professor Zawa will agree with me on that, but he can. I mean, that's the man, that's his position. So, which planet are you on?
Oh, okay. I'm Anthony Gay. I'm a blogger, political junkie. I consider myself to be because I've been following politics so very closely at age 9, and campaigning for so many different people. I started in the Ivory Coast, playing flyer for Lawrence Gbagbo, and the list goes on. also playing flyer for Obama 2008 as well. So I've been into politics very long. However, yes, I do have a political affiliation. The first and ever political party I ever affiliated myself with in Liberia is the ANC. And I chose not to join any other political party. If this thing does not work for me, I will be independent for life. However, I'm proud to be an ANC member. I also I chair a chapter here in the United States. I am an ANC USA member. I chair a chapter in the Delaware Valley. I'm the chapter chairman here. But I come to politics and like Liberian politics with objectivity. I don't come because I am a member of ANC, so everything ANC does or extension CPP does, I mean, 100%, the best thing ever. I'm not that kind of politician. I'm the type who come to the political spectrum with clear mind, open-minded guy, and speak true to power. I'm very objective and also accept dissenting views. We don't always have to agree, but when you can state your point void of personal attack, you're welcome, and that's what I encourage. I also, I'm very pragmatic, and I like to see things done. Whether the current government can do things that will benefit our country, we all for it. I am not one of those who will oppose every single thing President Weah want to do in the country. For instance, if President Weah decide that, hey, technocrat should go to Liberia and train our people, then I'll ask, what kind of technocrat? Would that be Liberian who already have the expertise to train our people, or are you bringing people who will come to our country that we don't have those expertise in Liberia?
Okay.
So that's the kind of guy I am.
So I don't want to leave it with ambiguity here for our folks here. The ANC, is that the ANC of Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I thought that maybe the ANC in South Africa.
No. Ours is the Alternative National Congress, not the ANC. Yes, the new ANC Liberia will mimic after the ANC in South Africa. But yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Are you serious for that?
That is true. I mean, it's just that we are alternative. We are not the African,
National Congress.
Yeah. So there's a thing. But I would say we all hope that our country succeed. 75% of my family live in Liberia. 75% of my entire family live in Liberia. So if the country succeeds, my people will enjoy. If the country fails, my people will suffer. So I'm not one of those that one person we have to fail.
Okay, let me see here. Tracy, you're not honest. Please the volume. Okay, hold on. Let me see here. I'm not sure what he said. Let me see what I can work on the volume here. Everybody, it should be fine. I don't know why he said. Please give me a thumbs up if it's okay, because I don't want to be. Somebody got to tell. Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay.
Say it again.
It's okay. Good. On my end.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. So, Mr. Kelly, please check your.
I know this is an open discussion, so I wanted to piggyback on one of his points he made. I heard him say that the ANC in Liberia, it was based on the ANC in South Africa. Can you clarify that?
But I said the name ANC is mimic after the ANC South Africa. Alternative National Congress. It is a article. The African National Congress in South Africa was a movement that became a political party. The ANC also was a movement that became a political party. It started here in 2013 in the United States that gave birth to ANC Liberia.
Yeah, the distinction I wanted to make is that, because I did not think you were trying to say that your party, the ANC, is anywhere similar to the African National Congress.
No, that's not what I said.
That's what I want to make clear before people get
confused. No, that's not what I said.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Benedict will not get membership into the ANC in South Africa.
All right.
No, that's not what I said.
Okay, I think Joyce just went out. Okay, that's okay. The man said we can put him in firing squad for that. He's already in. Okay, Mr. Gate, I believe you get the message here. I'm concerned. I try to play the game. Dr. Red, veteran journalist, welcome. Reverend as well, welcome. So, this guy, Akaros Gray, I don't know, to put on your thinking cap here. I'm not sure whether you're going to agree with him. He's calling for the dissolution, potential one. He's speaking out. The president will bring them back. He's leaving the hanging. The people say to and people they're breaking their family member. They need to revisit the foreign mission. They need to find investors, people who will be a helping hand to this government. The action deployed by Representative Akaras Gray, is it in isolation? Do you think the president or other highest of sedition, is he going to be used as a sacrificial lamb to say, hey, somebody got to come. We need to resurrect our party here if we are to survive 2023. And if that is the case, Akaras Gray, is he the person to get this, to go on this sort of mission?
Well, the truth of the matter remains that the CDC party is heading in the wrong direction. Their own documents, the PAPD, the Purple Agenda for Development and whatever it is called, but it's PAPD. It has 4 major pillars. I believe Professor Zawulo will agree with me. In those 4 pillars, pillar number 2, I want to focus on pillar number 2. Because pillar number 2, even if you read the executive summary of the PAPD documents, it speaks heavily about agriculture. Granted, if agriculture is supposed to be the bedrock of the economy of the real government, then why is it agriculture got peanuts, I would say, a little nothing in the budgeting allocation? If agriculture should be our bedrock of the economy, then we should be investing at least 30 to 40 million United States dollars annually, so that within 3 years, Liberia will bounce back. We consume rice as our staple food. 95% of the rice that is sold on the market in Liberia, imported. An estimate of over 400 million United States dollars is spent annually on rice import alone. Take, for example, if our local farmer gets at least 30% of that 400 million United States dollars that is being spent just to import rice, we will be doing better. The job that we're looking for, we have created that job. So Akaras Gray may not be the best messenger of this message. He has a point. Minister Samuel Twa have demonstrated since his insertion as a finance minister of Liberia, have shown to, I am not an economist, let me lay out that here for a fact, but I've been around economics news and whatnot, and I can tell you for a fact, his approaches have not worked for the Liberian.
You watch Luda, right?
Because economics is a practical field. It's not a theoretical field, it's a practical field. The numbers must work. In order to measure the economy of the country is how well the citizens are doing. Not how well your stock market is doing, but how well your citizens are doing. So when the citizens are doing well, then they can afford their bread and butter issue. They can afford to put food on the table, pay the children tuition, and buy little things for themselves. They can care less about the rest of the other things.
Okay, let's come to base. Let's come to base here. So because there are a lot of things potentially indicted the ruling establishment, and I know Professor Zawulo will respond to that. So Akaras Gray missioned right now, is that a sort of post-recovery after the election, just to say, okay, let him get it out of his chest here, should we take it seriously? And if that's the thing that they are talking with in the inner cycle, Akaras Gray coming out to speak to that, would that be implemented? Should we take him seriously, in fact?
The first person that's supposed to take this thing serious, the president. I thought the CDC retreat, national retreat that they had, was for them to recalibrate, come together, strategize, put a plan forward, and run with it. I was shocked. They left the retreat and then started galvanizing that membership, galvanizing that people, just to go on Senator Darius Dillon. You spend all of your political arsenals on seating an individual as opposed to putting forward a plan, because you have 3 more years. The presidency of Liberia currently is 6 years. It's not 3 years. So after your first 3 years, you are the midterm of that presidency. You look back, you do a retrospect and see what have you done good, what have you done wrong, and what do you need to improve, and move on. But
so let me ask you here before I go to Professor Zavlo here, and I want you to be specific to my question here. All you politicians here for the political correctness, is his action now, do you think is with the consent by the president or hired, or they say, hey, go out there, do the dirty work, and we will support it?
Somebody saying my volume is too high. I gotta lower it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, just make an adjustment and see. Are you there? You getting up? Are you there, Anthony?
I'm here, but the same volume. Can you adjust my volume from the end, or I have to adjust it? People are complaining on the group chat that my volume is so high.
That's okay now.
Okay, so let me just take you from the screen here, or if you want to do it manually, let me just take you off.
Okay.
I can do it from my end here, but if it's
try doing it from the end first. Let's see how it goes.
Okay, so let me
Yeah,
just.
I'm seeing the trend here is the saying my volume is too high.
But you are good. I think you are fine. Could be the
All
person.
right, I think it's okay. You know, somebody put to get life support phone into so.
Okay, all right. I already speak a little slower too. I see.
Okay, so Professor.
Yeah.
This guy came and just dumped everything on CDC. You're now following to your pro agenda. Of course, this from the opposition, so I don't think it's a surprise to you.
Yeah, look, let's face the facts. If you look at what is allocated in the budget to agriculture and what are some of the pillars of the Propo agenda for development and prosperity, or prosperity and development, you will want to think that, yes, it's not commensurate with what is expected. But there are so many factors, inhibiting factors, which should not be ignored. You know, when I hear Mr. Gay just throw up numbers like that, being a mathematician, it shakes me. It says, if you could take 30 million and give it to agriculture, then you'll be able to get this, you'll be able to get that. How did he reach the 30 million? He's talking about precision in doing this kind of thing. No, Mr. Gay, you can't just throw 30 million into agriculture. First of all, what you have to do is to have a plan. And then you can put numbers to your plan. Then you can identify how much money do you need to spend on agriculture in order to achieve, for example, self-sufficiency when it comes to rice production. Then you will be able to understand how you can generate foreign exchange based on your agricultural products. Those are things that were not done in the past. And this government has to do just to understand the agriculture sector alone, a real thorough review of the agriculture sector could almost go to around $30 million to just understand it and just form the basis, the pillars for it to be able to function the way it is expected to function under the proper agenda for prosperity and development. You know, it's interesting that Mr. Gay belongs to the ANC, and the ANC is a constituent member of the coalition of collaborating political parties, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Collaborating political parties. Interestingly, one of the exponents of that political structure is Joseph Yuma Boyka, former Minister of Agriculture, former Managing Director of LPNC. Do you think any farmer in Liberia we want to listen to the ANC or the CPP on agriculture? Really? You said Burger was agriculture minister. He was LPNC managing director. He wrecked those institutions during his time. Has he undergone some metamorphosis? Now will tell us that he's part of this group that has this plan for agriculture in our country that is going to take us from the situation we are in? Obviously not. It's gimmicks. It's again one of those tricks that people are trying to push on the Liberian people. But you see, Liberian people are smart. And they will make the right decision. When President Weah's name is on the ballot, they will vote for the person who will take them out of this mess that was created by previous government. You have $700 million being spent in your country for 12 years, almost every year, $700 million. Where are the agricultural machinery that were bought for those $700 million? Where are the agricultural research projects that were done so that our farmers can have an understanding of what type of rice to plant, where to plant those rice? Where are they? So you see, what the CDC government is doing is that we are cleaning the mess. We are trying to build on something that was never built. And so that's why we have to be very careful when we are throwing these allegations and bringing these glamorous plans that will not prevail. Look, our government is committed to improving the agriculture sector. Look, but we don't just want to talk about producing rice for us to eat. Our government is so focused on producing so that people in other parts of the world can eat, generating, bringing about $500 to $1 billion every year in agriculture.
Professor, let me hold you right there.
Please go in there.
Hold on one second. Yeah. But guys, this is what I want us to do. I want our audience to be in line with us, right? We're going to come to all of those issues. I want to see if it is possible that we can arrive at an understanding with the actions of Carus Gray. I've been told, I've been hearing from some other insider that after or at the end of the first anniversary of inauguration, is that the 20th or 21st? President Weah. Is that the anniversary will be what, the 20th, right?
Yeah, what happened? What happened to the anniversary? What is it?
Are you panicking? Well, we are hearing potential reshuffle for some shakeup going to be happening. That I don't know.
I don't know about any shakeup. I would not preempt what the government is going to do or not do when it comes to executive appointment. I think that's the prerogative of the president. I never ever cross my line, and I do not think about those things. But I would say this.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this. It makes a lot of sense for the president to do some replacement in his cabinet. I think about half of the cabinet should be doing something else very soon.
So, okay, let me bring in George here. George.
Yeah.
You know, Professor, come in, hold on one second. Professor is leaving the hanging. Okay, he in support. Half of the cabinet should be a replacement to be doing something else. What is? What is he talking?
Maybe they could be coming on your show to be. They could be taking my place.
You're not going to get paid here. You're not getting paid.
The Gray issue. Let me say this: Gray is speaking for a certain wing of the party. Akaya Gray is speaking for a certain wing of the party. The question:
what happened to your mic? Your microphone there. Go ahead. Let me see.
Is that working?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's staticky.
Yeah.
I want to know where Gray have been. Where has he been?
No, you're okay. Pa George, you want to go
on log back in and see if that helps.
You want to go on? I think your voice. Okay, just go on. Let me pull you off, and then you can come back in. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, but don't you see that coming, Professor? I don't know whether he's trying to solidify his position for 2023, whether he's going to be contesting. I don't know whether he's the guy going to be the brave guy who is speaking to those issues that people are not speaking. And I think Pat George is getting to the point. Pat George, are you there now?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, better.
Yeah,
okay.
Much better.
Akagre is speaking for a certain wing of the party, expressing their frustration and sentiment over what had gone on. But there was a thing, Akagre who was running a campaign trashing other people. This guy was the one who was orchestrating all kinds of things in Morovia, in the CDC. When Morovia said, I think what they did, he, Jefferson Kochi, they went to riot around Morovia. When Morovia revealed what the president was doing, they went on Morovia side to rally. So you can see that he's speaking from certain wing of the party. And if you listen to this guy, what they have been saying, just to butcher Professor Zawu was saying that there are elements within the CDC who are now working, not supposed to be there. They just came and hijack the party. The people who struggle with the party today, they are not benefiting. And it's that group that Akagre is speaking to. You see there? The issue about Akagre appointing people, because I heard him saying over and over, they should recruit people, they should send people in the embassy to be there, to learn, to be a cadet, all the kind, they must send the people there. But the question I continue to ask Akagre, he was in the executive, he signed the Bukos Treaty. The Bukos Treaty, he signed it. He didn't see nothing wrong with it at the time. He was all in it for it. But because they got the massive defeat, the midterm election, so now Akagre is coming to stand on as someone who is in the interest of the people. Then I find it difficult to understand these people. Because I'm saying, okay, if Akagre has an issue, he's a member of the executive committee of the party. And they convene a meeting, a conference to discuss the party, the way forward for the party. Or what is his rapport with the president, who is the chief of the party, chief president of the party? What is his rapport with the president? Is he consulting the president before coming to make the utterances? So I'm wondering, or is he doing it to gain some favor from the public to say, or from sedition to say, oh, Akagre is now advocating for us? So these are all questions we must be asking Mr. Gray, because Gray being there, why he has not been speaking about the people who are not getting any job from the CDC. What he and the chairman doing? What a discussion they having about these people. So right after the election, now that when Akagre is coming out to vent his anger, his frustration that people have hijacked the party. So the question I can only surmise that Akagre is speaking for a certain wing of the party, and the group he's speaking from, those are people that who feeling that they have been disenchanted, left out of the whole thing, and now Akagre is now coming to say, okay, yes, I'm there to speak on your behalf. This is the Akagre explain.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I want to voice down to the beginning here. Let me make sure here something. I don't know why the
Do you have a device playing in the background, Mr. Pat George?
No. My phone is off.
Okay. There's some sort of feedback.
Okay. All right. I think it's okay now. Okay. So the whole thing here is let's put it this way here, Professor. There was an unconfirmed report after the senatorial race when the result came. Some insider of the ruling establishment, there were extensive meetings that went on. People playing games. Other people wanted the president to intervene directly. That I was told by a top insider, to see whether that result was being twisted, and the president was bold with them. he was upset, and he said he was not going to do it because he felt betrayal. And that people didn't do their job, and that was the result. And that was the way the Liberian people was speaking. Now you see, Akaras Gray is coming out. This is the same Akaras Gray that formed an alliance with Chairman Molba Molu during our tip saga. You remember that he walking back now, coming that there are some people who are not. And I think that's a good part to who are not speaking or who are not able to representing the government. So the president, the government should take a decision. I'm wondering here, with the president, or is it a discussion that behind the scene yet to come to public light?
Look, first of all, there are a few things I wanted to correct you on. One, Mr. George earlier indicated that Molba Molu was heard on a tip talking about the things the president was doing. First of all, those things that you're talking about were never done by the president. The president is a man who is happily married. He doesn't engage in those kind of activities that were allegedly attributed to him. Let me dismiss that first of all. Those were liquor talk, which was very clearly described by the very person who was speaking. The second thing I wanted to talk about here is that the person who wrote that story, I think it was in front page of all the Liberian Observer. That person doesn't belong in Liberia. That person needs to be in places like United States or in one of the other developed countries making money for writing fiction.
Which story now?
Just sat down. The story about President Weah being angry and there was a meeting held. There was an argument between President Weah. He felt he was betrayed. He was, making all those things. That kind of meeting, that meeting never took place. It was all the work of fiction, the imagination of an individual. And I think he has a very good imaginative abilities. And I think he could be doing something good with his life, try to get located in the Western world where he can make money from writing. Because he already wrote a good imaginative piece. The third thing I wanted to say here is that there was no alliance around Molba Molu. The party rallied around Molba Molu. And the reason why people in the party rally around Molba Molu, the president rally around Molba Molu, the minister of state rally around Molba Molu, the minister of everybody rally around Molba Molu is because, as Liberians, we believe in the redemptive powers of individual. So I wrong Mr. George. I tell Mr. George sorry, and then we hang head and we move on. And so everybody was in support of. Everybody wrapped their hands around Molba Molu because he admitted that he had lied. It was a liquor talk that he was doing. The other thing I wanted to say, I think most of you guys may not know Akaras Gray. What Akaras Gray has been doing lately, nothing strange. He has been one of the most vocal critics about happiness within government and happiness within the party. So it's not that he's fronting for any individual. It's not that he's trying to prepare his campaign for 2023. That's Akaras. He speaks truth to power. He's not afraid of anybody. And like Mr. George said, Akaras Gray is expressing the sentiment of a certain sector of our party that feel disenchanted and want to see change. So that's what's going on. So it's nothing new. And I think what Akaras Gray is doing is, calling us together. I made a plea here right after the election. I said there's a need for us to have a national convention to go and discuss it. Here's the last thing I wanted to talk about. The last thing I wanted to say, we did not have a retreat in February. Let me make that correction because I think that has been passing around here. We did not have a retreat in February. We planned to have had a retreat in February. Once we got to Monrovia, there were developments that made the retreat impossible. So what we had was a program just to celebrate the 2-year anniversary of the president in power. There was no retreat held.
Okay, but Professor, let me just go in there. When you talk about,
so if I may, can I come in?
Yeah, Pajo, let me bring in Anthony. I wanted to ask the professor why actually they were celebrating just the first 2-year term. But Anthony, come in here a little bit. Let me see.
Here's the thing. I know you are a professor, and part of your job being a professor is being a lecturer, and you got to be a good lecturer to captivate the mind of your students. But here's the thing. In politics, you cannot intellectualize the conversation. We speak on facts. We speak on results. As when I introduced myself earlier, I said I'm very pragmatic. Things has to be happening. It's not theory. In politics, it's not about theory. It's a well-calculated risk when you come to politics. Just like business. What is the reward versus the risk? That's how politics is. You just spoke of the president, President George Manawia. Even though we are not here to litigate any personal matter here on this platform, but I would just say this and leave it with the listening and the reading audience here. All right? And that has to do with, you said he's happy to marry. Fine. A happily married man was taken to court in Georgia to pay child support for a young baby. I'll leave it at that. The circumstances surrounding the chairman Molu, what is a later or not, or you say you flat out came out and said it did not happen. You don't police the president 24/7, isn't it? You do not police the president. You are not with him 24/7. You don't know what transpired. So you can only speculate and hope that it didn't happen. But that does not make it the actual facts. So opinions are not facts. You are actually entitled to your opinion, and I give you that. But does that mean what you said, it is factual, is exactly what happened? That is yet to be determined. So I just want us to be very cautious when we say certain things, especially when we're making declarative statements, because you came out definitively to say he did not do it. So I mean, we can talk so and talk so. Now, you mentioned Ambassador Boakai, VP Boakai. He's not the president of Liberia currently. You have the opportunity. The Liberian people are hurting. Our family, your family, if you have relative or loved one, somebody, I know you have somebody in Liberia, they are hurting. And the reality is real. So, with your PAPD, what have you done since you have appointed your administration? When I say your administration have appointed Alvin Wiesel, an inexperienced young man who never held that position before, no experience whatsoever. But his role as an assistant minister of agriculture is a very technical role, very complex role. He's supposed to tell us what product we need to invest in, how we need to invest into that product, what program. Since he have taken that position, it's been 3 years. What policy has he written for the Liberian people? When Samuel Toy came to Philadelphia on 2010, not 2020, 2019, October the 10th, I asked him the same question. Which government ministry or government agency can we in the diaspora submit our agricultural proposal? Because I have one and I can hire 500 people right off the bat with government intervention. How do we put our people back to work? How do we give our people the opportunity to strive again? Liberia possess up to 46% of the rainforest in West Africa. Got very good forest. How do we help our people? What is your government doing to help our farmers in Liberia? I don't think everybody in Liberia just sitting down waiting for the handout. People want to work. People want to be food sufficient, and they want to do something for themselves. What is the project? What is the initiative that this government has undertaken? Squarely on agriculture. Please help us understand.
Yeah, talking about, let George come in, talking about Minister Wiesel. I invited him, and I'm still waiting to get that concern. Let George come in, and then we'll bring in Emmanuel Zaza. And of course, the professor will respond. George.
Yes, I just wanted to comment on the Mobile Molo issue. Mobile Molo is the chairman of the party, the ruling party. And he made those statements about the president. And Professor I always say where they went, he believed in forgiveness. So when they had this meeting and they forgave Mobile Molo. And he said that it was lie. Then Mobile Molo came up, the next they said it was liquor talk. And then I found out, how can you compromise those statements? And he spoke about a person that being a very decent man. I don't know person we are, so I would not say anything that I don't know. If I speak of something, it's coming from the camp. So if I sit down here and say this, but there have been many ladies who have come on different platforms and talk about person we are. It's private life. But I really don't want to dwell on that. I just want to dwell on what Mobile Molo said at the time. And they said it was liquor talk. But I hope if that was a different setting, I know Mobile Molo would have been out of job by that time. But Liberia, it is considered as liquor talk, and it's not true. So that's Liberia. So everything we do there is different. It's different. I just want to say that. And the issue of he spoke about Boakai. And here's the thing here. I don't think former VP Boakai is the one to speak about any agriculture program in Liberia. He should stay away from it. He should stay away from it. As LPMC were on Boakai, agriculture. What did he lay out during his tenure at the Ministry of Agriculture that today people can use as a roadmap? So I would say to people, Boakai, when they talk about agriculture and things, I don't want Boakai need to be around there. Because he was in that capacity before. So if he did anything good there.
You seem to agree with Professor Dalo.
Yeah, but that's what I said. I wanted to portray what he said about Boakai. Because Boakai was Minister LPMC, agriculture. What is the roadmap that Boakai left in the ministry that ought to come to follow? So Boakai should not even, those who put in Boakai as champion of agriculture, I don't even want to go there. Okay. So for me, that Boakai just for one son. Boakai, they sat down there, presided over $15 billion. I heard the Tapper said the other day that $16 billion walk out of Liberia under the regime of Boakai and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He was speaking, say he has document to prove that. They can prove it. So today, when people, I don't know to talk Mr. Omen Boakai, I respect him as a statement, but when we're having the discussion, I don't think I want to hear Boakai in it, because 40 years in government, I think there should be things that we should be cheering Boakai them for. But I got yet to see anything that I would cherry the Honorable Boakai for.
Okay, let me bring in Emmanuel. Azaza, are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Good evening, and welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let me close my door. I don't want people seeing you out there.
Oh, so those are things you gotta make sure the things are always in order, my man. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I want to say hi to everyone and thank you for having me on your show. I've been listening in, and for the one that I heard, if I should give my opinion on the first thing that has to do with why Akaros Gray, who sent Akaros Gray, it's hard to say, because in Liberia, everything the government does is like a Zobush issue. You don't have real facts that you can hold people back. Now, if I have records on the voting in the House to know that Akaros Gray voted for this and he voted against this, that I can use them against him and say, if you actually wanted to speak for the people, you were in the House when 68 Booker's concession were passed. But in the House, people just say, nay, we don't even know who is even voting for and against. So it's hard to hold him when it comes to that one. What people say he voted for it. I don't know whether he actually voted for them or against them, because there's no fact, you know. So the only thing that I can say is that whether he's speaking for himself or he's actually speaking for the people is something that I had to determine because we don't have a track record by facts. I'm not talking about somebody just saying something about somebody, you know, because we can all say anything about anybody. Like my brother Anthony Gay, what I can work on and say Anthony Gay is biased because you can always talk for about Anthony. I gotta go about Cummings. It can be a saying, but can I prove it? I can't prove it. So if something that I can't prove, it have for me to just say. So in the case of Akaros Gray, I can't stand and say, oh, Akaros Gray is being genuine or he's not, because I don't have fact to prove it. It's also possible that he come and speak for the party because he's in the party, and many people in the party have been disappointed by what happened during the midterm.
What happened?
During the midterm, the country had 15 seats that were up for grab. Out of the 15 seats, if you look at what happened in 2017, CDC took 14 out of the 15. This time they came back, they could not even win 3 out of the 15. That's disappointing. Mr. Rada alone, if CDC could lose Mr. Rada, I would say.
Is there something responsible for that?
It's a failure.
That quick transition, that quick change into
it's a failure. It's a failure. I supported Trump in 2016.
So what?
When you say it's a failure,
okay. When I say it's a failure, when you do a very good job, the people will not vote against you. Before CDC came to power to be the governing party today, almost everyone that CDC put forth, almost everyone, I mean close to 80 to 90% that CDC put forth were eligible to be elected. Before CDC became the governing party, we had about about 12 people from the CDC that were in the house, in the lower house. In the upper house, we had 2 people, and we had 1 person from the CDC. I'm not thinking about adding NPP to them or adding the AL, adding the other party to them. I'm not thinking about adding Alex Tyler party and NPP to them, but I'm thinking about CDC as a Congress for Democratic Change. Had about 10 representatives and 1 senator. So they had 11 in the house.
So tell us here, when you say failure, let's not leave it in the air. What specifically that perhaps the voters are reacting to the administrative policy?
Okay, in Liberia, many people believe everything should come from the government, even though that's something that I believe. But in Liberia, there are 2 things people can grade the government on, and I've written about it. You see, in Liberia, when people have a stable price system that at least tomorrow a woman can say, I'm going to the market tomorrow, $5, I'll be able to get $5 food. At least somebody can drive can get a car from Red Light to Central Monrovia and they know the price. I'll be able to take them back. But right now, I was in Monrovia in September. When you leave from Red Light, you go Monrovia, you pay $5, you come back, you pay $10, you go back again, you pay $15. So people can actually budget themselves because the transportation system is not set. One, when it comes to the price in the market, somebody will buy a burger rate, do $5, they go back tomorrow, be $15, they go buy another, be $25. So price is not stable. So when the Commerce Ministry and the Transportation Ministry is not effective, it hurts the people more than any other thing you will do. You can build Liberia and make it as Dubai and make it as New York. When people can have control on price, when they can have control on transportation, they will say you are not doing anything. And that's how they can grade the government. That's how they feel the government is not doing well. And that's how they decide to vote against the people that the government put forth. And that's my opinion. Like I said, I don't have fact to it. I can reference.
If I may, it was just one of those things.
Again?
It was just one of those issues.
Yeah, like I said, like in my case, those are the major things that people can look at, the local people on the ground. Those are the major things to look at. Because if somebody can't afford to send a child to school, even whether you're not paying there or not, but at least if they can be able to feed that child, they will know they can live from one day to another. But if they can't afford to feed the child to school,
hold on 1 second.
You keep adding new things.
Professor Zablo.
I'm concerned about the pricing. I said feeding. I said transportation. I said if somebody is not eating, if the person is not able to feed a child, it's dangerous. They're not sending them to school. That's what I said.
Okay.
If the person not going to school, if they're eating, they can bear it. But if the person can't afford to feed a child before you think about school, then it's more dangerous. That's what I keep saying. I'm still on 2 things: price and transportation.
Okay. Let's have a conversation here because the audience too that they need to know. We'll open the lines very shortly. So, Professor, he outlined few things. Are there arguable points for which your party lose massively?
Here's interesting thing. Again, we'll go down to the numbers. Let me just correct him first on some number issues first before I get down to the fallacies in the contradictions in his expressions. In the Liberian Senate representative, other representative has 73 members. 10 out of 73 is not 80%. In the Senate, there are 30 members of the Senate. 4 out of 30 is not 80%. If you add 4 to 10, you get 14. 14 out of 103 is not 80%. That's 1. 2, you said when CDC used to send a candidate, 80% were eligible to be elected. No, when we send our candidates, 100% of them were eligible to be elected. Not 80%. I don't know how you did. How is a person who participates, and Mr. Gay and Mr. George can help with that. I don't know how a person who is eligible, who enters an election, when people enter an election, they are 100% eligible to be elected. I don't know how can it come to 80%. So let me correct those things. Then another.
Okay, let me make that clear before you go. Let me make that clear.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, I said if the CDC put their people out, the voters, the voter will within themselves look at 80% of those people. The very first thing, we have never had a general election where 15 seats were out for grab. We have not had that I know of since CDC became a popular party.
We always have
it. It's always
we always have that seat, Emmanuel.
The general election. The general election.
But 2014 we had 15 seats available.
Have CDC put for 15 candidates in 2005?
No, we never had it. We never had a situation where 15 seats were available. CDC.
Are you referring to CDC putting out 15 candidates?
Yeah, in a particular election, has it happened?
Oh no, but you didn't say it that way.
No,
anyway,
but even 2023, let's get it right here. Even comes 2023, that same number will still be up for grab.
Yes, and all the representative seats.
Yeah, there was the different times, including the presidency. That's going to be on the line. Another 15 going to be there again.
Yeah, because the 103 seats will be available.
In 2005, were there 15 seats out for grab in the Senate?
Yeah, but I think CDC did not put up candidate in
it doesn't matter. We are not focusing.
I don't think that is a subject that we
discuss. For 15 and the loss, and they have only 2 coming out. It hasn't happened in any election.
Yeah, but you see, then it contradicts what you're saying. You say CDC are always been winning 80%, but then you're telling us again, so we gotta be very careful when we throw out numbers like that. Sometimes it's better for us to stay away from the numbers. I think you are making a lot of good arguments, but let's put the numbers away and let's talk about the other things. Numbers. You can't fake it. So CDC never had 80% in the House, never had 80% in the Senate, never ever. And in 2005, there were 30 senatorial seats available for grabs, not 15, 30. Correct? Yeah, 2005. All right. And then another thing you talk about is that it's interesting. I don't know whether way back in economics in high school, we learned about planned economy and we learned about market economy. In the market economy, prices, goods and services are controlled by market forces. So what kind of economy you want us to have in Liberia? You want to clarify that for me?
What is the question?
What kind of economy do you want us to have in Liberia? What kind of economy are we practicing in Liberia? Because you are interested in price control.
Yes.
My understanding is prices are controlled by market forces. So it's possible in a civilized world for an item to be priced $5 in the morning, and in the evening it is priced $6 or $7. It is possible for an item to be priced at St. George's Gallery. It used to be on Broad Street those days. The shoes you could buy on Benson Street for $20. You go to St. George's Gallery on Broad Street, you could pay $4 for it. These are market forces that control this kind of thing.
Okay, so
market forces. Yeah. That's what I'm telling you. You're saying that people voted because of fluctuation in prices.
because they don't have, because the price will not be in control.
Guys,
You see, the free market.
It's a free market.
It's the free market.
Yeah, so you are telling me because it's a free market, so every shop in Liberia should have control over their own price.
No. Free market.
That's what you're telling me?
No.
Who's the service that you tell me?
Of this discussion here.
Yeah.
Listen. Don't confuse. I want to get something clear.
No,
are you telling me
hold on,
a bag of rice in the market,
Emmanuel,
the price should be determined by the marketers, by the market, the business people?
The Ministry of Commerce has a regulatory authority.
Yes.
Okay, they can regulate. They cannot dictate. They regulate.
Okay.
So, for example, if one marketer decide that they're going to sell the bag of rice for $50, and all other people selling it for $20, that person who selling it for $50 very soon learn that he cannot sell it for $50. So the market forces that will pull him down to bring the price to the level that it's supposed to be. Then they get what they call vouching.
Okay, so why?
Hold on.
So
Guys,
why was the commerce minister shutting down other stores for overpricing bag price?
Emmanuel.
Yes.
I don't want us to pollute this conversation. There are specific things to put on there. When I read it for that, I'm going to bring in economists, people, the experts, for them to look at that. So let us now to do that. I'll just looking at his.
Let me give you the last thing. The last thing I wanted to say was that look, you are right in the latter part of your analysis when you indicated that when people cannot pay the students specific tuition, when people cannot put food on their table, that's a disconnect with the people. The people will voice that up in the votes. You are correct on that point. And that's exactly what happened in the elections that we did. So I agree with you on that.
Okay. So let's keep the focus here. Yeah. Okay. Let me bring in Constant, just joining in here. And I'm just going to give you a quick run through. You have made a declaration. Here who you support, which is okay. We have Anthony Gay here for ANC. I'm looking for somebody who may be from the Unity Party. But we have over 28 political parties. There's no way I can accommodate it. I'll just look for I'm going to look for those. The top one here. I have independent Mr. George Emo Joy. Okay, Constant, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm here to contribute in my little way. So I'm a physician. I support CDC. I believe in the purple agenda, and I'm here to promote the purple agenda.
I want to listen. They are very, very, they don't shy away from their party. They are very forceful. This guy, your representative, Akaras Gray, he's now crying wolf, crying baby cry. Sedition supposed to be going for a retreat to strategize, to tell us what went wrong and how they're going to do it differently. But he's telling us now that the embassy people in America, Canada, Europe, all over the place, they need to come home. Something is not going right. Who sent, is that President George Weah sending Akaras Gray out there to do the data work for him or what?
Are you referring that question to me?
Yes, please. I want to know who you think, who giving Akaras Gray the courage to speak, to be speaking out like that?
Well, I don't think the president will send Akaras Gray to speak. Akaras Gray is speaking on his own behalf. He's a lawmaker. And I think right now, people are trying to play into the situation and try to see how best they can set themselves aside or apart. Re-elections is coming, but I think we are on course. Mr. Gray might be reading through things, but he's entitled to his opinion. And I mean, those are things that partisan we can talk about. My major concern here is that how we can maintain the power that we have now. And that's all we are focused on, how we deliver to the Liberian people so that come 2023, will be re-elected. So Mr. Gray is speaking as a representative. He's not speaking on behalf of the president. The president has the authority to call on the information ministry to call on LBS to give any press conference or any briefing at any time. So at this point in time, I don't see that as Mr. Gray speaking on behalf of the president. Mr. Gray is speaking on behalf of himself as a Liberian.
But he also calling for potential. I'm getting that audio. Is anybody listening to the program? They just got to lower their monitor. If anybody listening, he's calling potentially for the dissolution of the cabinet. Meaning he's speaking directly to the executive branch of government. So I'm wondering here whether there's a consensus of few sedition to say, hey, you are the brave guy. We can use you as a sacrificial lamb. He went on to say, if it can cause even the speaker for him to lose his position, that's fine. He's going to be speaking. So, do you think there was some sort of conversation held in the establishment to say, look, we need to do this? Do you support his call to call for people removal, dismissal, or maybe reshuffle? Because he was specific. He called Samuel Tuwagi, he called Nathaniel McGinney. Those are the names been ranking out there in the public domain. That is not a hidden fact.
Oh, Mr. Gay, I would say that even in our personal lives, we have to reflect, we do self-reflections. So I don't think asking that the cabinet be reshuffled is anything strange that no other person or no other government. We saw Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, she reshuffled, she moved people around. We even see in America President Trump trying to move people around. I don't think if the president decides to move people around, it means that they are incompetent or whatever. I think it just means that we need to revisit, even right now, other people having their New Year resolution. It doesn't mean that you are a terrible person, but there are some things that you want to accomplish. And you have a timeline and you want to re-strategize and you want to look at your option. It's not just about doing it, but how can you do it efficiently and in a timely manner? And I think that's where the reshuffle, maybe the reshuffle call is about. It's not that we have been doing terribly bad or horrible, but we can do other things. We can improve in other things. So I think that is where this whole reshuffle thing is about. It's not about, wish hunting or people dislike people. But I think at times you got to listen and you got to do things and serve the people that you are called to serve. I think that's where Mr. Gray is coming from.
Before I bring it, let me ask you: are you happy with what the party got in this last senatorial election as a citizen?
Your question again, please.
Are you happy as a citizen, the result from the senatorial race? Are you happy with that?
Well, I can use the word happy, but I accept the result because this is a young democracy, and we know that as incumbents, or when you are in government, it's easier for people to go against you than to go for you because you gain the sympathy. Opposition will always gain the sympathy of the people, but that's not the issue. I think one of the issues we have now is that the senatorial election is gone, so we need to focus on what is ahead, what is before us. So this is why partisans are calling for reshuffling. Sometimes it's not because you are not delivering. Sometimes it's also the lackability of individuals, the communication strategy. Something is not just connecting, and we need to figure it. And the way to figure it is to have a self-reflection as an institution, as a government, and then bring in other people and let us see what they have. Remember, when you go for a job interview here, when you apply for a job or you work it, when they don't hire you, it's not because you are not qualified. It's because they are looking for the most qualified. And sometimes it's not just the qualification, but someone that is able to meet goals, someone that is able to deliver in a timely manner, someone that is able to make things to happen without stepping on other people's toes. The transitional piece is what people are talking about. So it's not because people are not qualified. That's why it's saying they should reshuffle. We are talking about reshuffling, or people are calling for the government, the president to reshuffle in order for us to see and reflect, move people around. People got strength and weaknesses. Other people can come, they can be calm. Other people can appeal to both the eyes, come across in different ways. Other people can only appeal to one group of people. We're trying to unite the country. We need more people on board. There are so many people that are sitting on the fences that we want on board. So the reshuffle is in line, is there to bring everybody on board. I think that's what they are calling for the reshuffle.
Okay, Gay. Anthony, are you there? Anthony Gay. Anthony Gay, I'm not hearing you. Check your mic. Anthony Gay, I'm not hearing you at all. Are you there?
I think it's frozen.
Okay. Why are you doing, Anthony? I'm not hearing you. Why are you doing that, Pa George?
Yeah, let me answer hypothetical.
I'm coming to you. I know you're going to answer. Pa George.
Yeah.
Can you afford to eat this salad dinner or whatever support Constant has dressed here this evening? Can you afford taking that salad on the table to have it as a dinner?
No, I saw from acid reflux, and there's too much vinegar in the salad, so I will not be able to eat it tonight. Look, let me ask you hypothetical. What happened if city would have won the election? Would have won majority of the seat? Would they be speaking today like this? No. I heard her saying, bring other people on board. Who are the other people she's referring to? Is it people outside the party or within the party? Because if it's outside the party, these are some of the complaints that Mr. Gray is putting forward today, that people have hijacked the party. People who are not member of the ruling party, they're the one who got power. So when she said bringing people in, I don't know, she had to elaborate a little bit. Who are the people she's talking about? Is it sedition or opposition at the table to come into the table? So these are problems. Gray is speaking because of utter frustration. If they had won the election, we would not be hearing the conversation. They would have been talking about. They would have been talking about 12 years, 18 more years loading. That's what they would have been seeing. But because they have lost this election, now the Gray is trying to act like he's so concerned about the masses. No, and I'll continue to repeat myself. Gray is only speaking for segment of the party who feel that they have been disenchanted. That's what Gray is speaking about. But he's not speaking about it like grown people. He's talking about the people from embassy. Who are the people? He's talking about these people are not there speaking for the party. They don't want to. They are not doing their job to bring in investors into the country. But he, Gray, who is in the house, what are the bills that they have put forward to encourage investors to come into the country? He being chairman of the executive. What has he told the president? These are things the president we can do to encourage investors to attract investors. What has he done in these lines? I don't see it. He don't speak about it. When they come out, when something happens, then he come out to show that he's concerned to win sympathy from his partisan. This is what Gray does. When Gray was championing the cause to remove Cabinet General, and the sisters spoke about uniting the country, is that a thing for someone to unite the country to make a lie upon someone to remove Cabinet General? You talk about uniting the country? He had personal issue with this man. He went after him, and they took him from the Supreme Court. So this guy is not a uniter. This guy, he's a polarized person, or one of the polarized politicians in Liberia is Akaya Gray. Gray is only doing this thing to seek support or to win sentiment from that segment of the party. Because if Gray was serious, you are seeing his role in the House of Representatives. He will have put forward bills, proper bill, that will encourage investors to come to the country. He has not done anything like that. But all Gray does is to come at this time and speak loud. Oh, the party got to reform, got to do this. Hey, What have you been doing for the last 3 years since you've been there? What you did, you took your time, precious time to waste to remove Kabina Jene. That was it. He focused.
Okay, let me get
that.
Okay, let me get your reaction. I believe Professor Zalo. I will get to what then I will bring in Anthony Gay. Professor, where is Amos George going wrong here?
I think he's going wrong in so many areas. Here's what Mrs. Doku said, and here's what Representative Gray is saying. Mrs. Doku and Representative Gray, what both of them are saying is that, and I think they are speaking on behalf of ordinary Liberian people. The CDC is a political party. It's a conglomeration of individuals that believe in, first of all, our agenda for prosperity. If we believe the agenda for prosperity is tied to the interests and needs of the ordinary Liberians. So what Representative Gray is saying, if we have of health, agenda for prosperity and development, she will be able to implement it consistent with the party's ideology, which is tied to the ordinary Liberian people. If, for example, I who have worked and been part of CDC, not that we want any job, but if we were in the forefront, managing making some policies, we will be able, those policies would be tied to the agenda for prosperity, the Pro agenda, and it will be tied to the interest of ordinary Liberian people. What we are seeing obtaining is, in some instances, it's not everywhere. We are seeing people who are brought into the government based on good faith of the president to have an inclusive government. We are seeing a dereliction and poor performance on those people's part. And so what Representative Gray is saying, for example, if you are an ambassador, say for example, in China, what are you doing to bring Chinese investors to the country? If you're an ambassador in Russia, when was the last time people were working investors in the country? Yeah, I can hear you now. So that's what he's talking about. And I think it makes sense. He's speaking on behalf of Liberian people. But he is saying that, look, I know, for example, I know Mrs. Doku. Let's bring her on because I know she will deliver. And what she's going to do will benefit Liberian people. So he's speaking on behalf of Liberian people, but he's trying to identify the individuals who will be able to advance their cause because he knows them better. And that's what political parties will do. I don't think it's a selfish personal agenda. I don't see it. I really don't see it that way. The last thing I wanted to say is, look, Liberia is better than Kabina Jane. She's now on the Supreme Court. Kabina Jane is an instrument of division in our country. It was very dangerous for our democracy, and he was removed through a democratic process. The Chief Justice and the Supreme Court was there. There was a trial, and he was convicted and removed.
But that's a political trial. So, Professor, a political trial is different.
Let's not make it a back and forth between you and myself. The Constitution provides for that kind of trial. Who are you and I to say it was political motivated? When every rule on the book, every rule in the Constitution was observed. The Senate, the House of Representatives have those power, and they exercise the power. How can you say it's political? Had it gone the other way around, so had he not been convicted, would you have said it was political?
Because the issue that they accused, he was not removed for the issue, Professor Zawo. We can have that debate another time.
Okay. All right. This is what we're going to do. Mrs. Dopo, you want to speak on that? I'll have Emmanuel, and then to see where we can take few calls.
I will not speak on the Kabina Jane issue because I think we laid that to rest. But what I would like to tell Mr. Gay is that as an individual and as an institution in the government, it is always important to do soul session and to bring your more vibrant people on board. Does it mean that the people that are serving are not vibrant? No, we're trying to see how we can connect these doubts. We know that there were issues. We know there are issues, and we're trying to resolve them. We are not cowards. We are not cowards who are going to turn our backs and say, oh no, nothing is happening. No, prayer comes before the fall of a man. We are not a proud people. We are not a proud institution. We are people. We are a grassroots institution. And so if our people speak to us, we need to listen and we need to go back to find solutions. And that's what we are trying to do. And that's what he's recommending.
That's right. Emmanuel?
So, are you hearing me now?
Hearing you. I think a lot of background noise. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think it's from you. I'm isolated.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm all the way in the basement by myself. Okay, thank you. On the issue of Cabinet Janet.
No, I don't think we want to go. Okay, let's
okay.
Cabinet Janet. That's a long time. That's an obituary announcement right now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So as I was speaking on the issue of Gray, I said the party. There are people in the party that are hurt. That people that are disappointed. In Liberia, people believe the government everything.
Yeah. Okay, Gloria. Hold on.
It's not a case, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead before I go to the phone line.
Even though it's not supposed to be actually. The government should create an avenue that everybody can be able to find something to do. But for me, right now, if I look at what happened during the early time, look at what is happening now, I would say the only reason people are actually overrating the government failure is that because of what happened in the past, they don't understand what is happening right now. This government actually struggling. This administration actually struggling. Before, when Ellen was in power, we had a lot of money coming in the country. We had a lot of NGOs in the country. We had many sources of income in the country at the time. Right now, we don't have that.
So why, as the government, if you don't have the money, why not manage the limited resources that you have and you try to live above your income?
Well, I don't know.
Good question.
Can you define what you mean by living above your income?
What I'm talking about, there are a lot of exorbitant spending. Some traveling are not necessary. You need to cut down your expenditure. If you don't have the resources to keep the government going or to get certain things doing, what you do? You make some huge cuts so as to be able to meet up with your salary demand. All of that is not happening.
Okay, anyway,
let me go to the line here quick here, and then I will. Hello, Gloria, are you there? Yeah. Gloria, are you there?
Happy New Year. I will get back to you. I'm just trying to get some stuff in order.
Okay, so
Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Mr. Thor, can you hear me now?
There's something the professor and the lady, what's her name?
Constant, Mrs. Duopo. Mrs. Duopo.
Mr. Duopo.
Akara's Gray, Representative Gray.
He only say these things non-cry wolf because it looked bad for them. But when everything was in order, he didn't care about his people feeling. He didn't even concern about nothing. So all these things is just strategy to fool the people like, okay, Joria was the bad one. All these people were bad. Now we're seeing your point. Let's fix it. To be frank with you, I said it before and I'm going to say it. All these people have no plans, and I don't know when they will put the plan in effect because it's been 3 years and 3 more years to go before the next election. If you didn't get it right then, when will you get it right? You understand? And they're not even trying to. They're not even trying to. Because for one side, they're talking about reshuffle. When you say reshuffle, what kind of reshuffle they would do? When they tell you, say they find out minister not doing the right thing, are you going to take it from there and put the right person to bring the economy up to cool? No, you're not going to do it. You're just going to go back to the little people and move them around there and say you're reshuffle. Liberia is drowning, already drowning more and more. Either you fix it or you leave, let other person who can fix it come in. Either you leave or you leave. That's how I feel. Because the whole thing is messed up. I had 3 of my friends, including my cousin, just came back on Saturday. The way to speak of Liberia is terrible. It's very, very disgraceful. Even the COVID tax, the money they collect unnecessarily. What are they doing with the money?
What do you mean by unnecessarily? Liberia will paying 75.
Yeah, test results.
Where's the money going? Because first of all, only people that are bringing from coming out of other countries like Liberia is now on that list. So the COVID tax that they collecting $75 from where that money is going. I think
Okay.
I don't know over the collection of that
Can
money.
I?
Okay. Yeah, it's a deal here. Fair to mention, we need to know here, but to say it is not Ghana people are paying. What I have problem with, people are taking the test and they are not even getting their result, and some of them are here. So then where's the essence? So there is a policy, there's a process there. They should have people here, but you have multiple ministers, directors. They're not then supposed to be signing COVID something. You're supposed to have lab technicians. I mean, the structure, the manner in which, but to say, I mean, that's government on the regulation, that's fine. Ghana, you go through, you have to pay $150, you know? So if that's another way, government think they're breaking money, but then the system will be properly arranged and properly organized. I shouldn't pay my $75 and I can't even get my COVID to result, and then, you know, and they are in America. Like my friend, our manager is supposed to be here. He took it the time they were supposed to give it. They can't give it. And so he's still there and so now they have to reschedule his flight for the 10th. That is bad. That is a wrong arrangement.
People that run around. So like you say, if you put things in place, you gotta know what regulation, and then you gotta be fine with it. Okay, tell me, say, come and get my test. It takes 72 hours. If I get back for my result and I pay my money, I have my receipt, my test result should be available for me to leave. But it will purposely to hold stuff for you to give you the runaround.
That I don't. Okay, all right. That I don't know. Okay, thank you. All right.
Mr. So, can I come in?
Can I come in, please? Can I respond to my sister?
Before I let you go, you still stand. I said before I let you go, you still stand by your word that the CDC government does not have a plan when they were coming in, and they do not have one right now.
And that's what I want to speak to.
I don't see it. I mean, the future for CDC, I don't know. I can't even see that light coming on. It's not even in my.
Why are you closing your door on such a major political party?
It's like I'm not. You know why? It's like I'm not really like closing the door. It's okay. Let's say you have a child that giving you problem. You say okay. People say, well, just pray and do what you have to do. You keep fighting for somebody to be right. You keep fighting.
Yeah, right.
After some time. You have to say, you know what?
346. Please me your phone. We don't want to hear about people going to bed, please.
The reason why I say I don't see it with CDC because the leader of CDC, how many talk and people talk? He got to make that change.
Okay.
He's the one. It starts from the top. If you don't make the changes that need to be done, then the changes can be. If people say Samuel Tway is not doing the right thing for the economy, he's the head of the economy. Who puts in that job? We are pushing that. So why can't you put the right for people? If these people come up good, it's good for you, that your administration. But unfortunately, they don't see it and they don't want the money leave their hands, so they don't care. But I don't see it at all. And I will continue to say, I pray one day they will change. If they don't, so be it. But then let them leave the country. The people suffering. Enough is enough.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Well, those words here.
Mr. Smith, may I come in, please?
I'll go right back to my panelists for their reaction. 346.
Can I speak to that?
546. Caller, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
And good evening to your panelists. I want to take on to the Akara interview today. The interview itself, Mr. So if you just take a time and listen to the interview, there were a whole lot of contradictions. Akara is contradicting himself all through all the interviews. He's the man who is telling that the government has been hijacked by outsiders. And in a very clear interview, he called it all Liberia who are living in the diaspora in Europe because he wants to go back to Liberia. So are you saying that we should leave our job, go back to Liberia, and that we can't wait? So we think will be hijacking a government again? And the professor just said that right there too, the professor do always say the same thing. Now you are calling all to go back home into our own country.
When you go and then you get job, you think you have that your government. Because that's the government you expected. It is very interview. And you know what I'm looking about the whole interview is that Account Great is running away from something. You know, because so Account Great serves as the spokesman for some of our doing this one campaign and its campaign manager for some of our in this one campaign. And because of the morale, big bar, the carry all over the way, Account Great today now is trying to scapegoating the blogger he made. If you listen to now in his interview there when he says, while Donald Trump was there, pushing on the political activities of the country, Blog was pushing real politics, someone was doing what? Pushing developmental agenda. So he Account is saying that we should have got more of politics than going developmental. And when he generally asking, who did that? He said, the Kennedy, not the Kennedy, I was about problem. So he's escaping. He doesn't want to take the blame.
Okay.
You see? So he's telling all that. He doesn't have control over the whole thing. And he is very telling himself, we should have used no platform. We should have allowed our children to go on the platform to speak to the people. But he did, because the same thing always say all the truth. Every time you invite people, you have special platform to go off. You don't want to come on some of these platforms. And now you see some of the things that happen when you do not do those things. And to the professor, I don't want to say, Professor, I'm very sad. You do not know Georgia. You do not know the Georgia you are talking about. You don't know anything about Georgia. If you knew Georgia you are talking about, someone you say right on the platform, you really be saying, Georgia is a man when he has anything against you today. That very moment you get to know. That very moment you will get to know. Don't let others speak for you that moment. That very moment. And because you don't know Georgia, look at this thing, you say, when you say it, some of you are into after or about, go to Georgia, so you will do something in your life.
Okay, my man. Thank you. Let me go to the next person here.
I'm very proud to say it is very hard to defend this current unity government. You are trying to do your best, but it is not working. Please stop it. Stop it, sir. I'm begging. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. 978 is the last caller, and now I'll go to the guy. 978 32 6173. 978, are you there?
Yes. Hello, Alfonso and the corner. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, how are you doing, Uncle Sam?
I just wanted to ask. So I just wanted to add my voice and clarify one issue. In my exercise, I was trying to make a good point, and it was distorted and twisted a little bit. And what he was trying to allude was because of prices caused by inflation that is affecting the Liberian people, that some of them can afford because of our condition, our economic condition. And then later on, Mr. Professor Jaja, he just said, about the market forces, But I just wanted to tell you that, professionally, when we come to this show, there are a lot of career and experienced, educated people watching the show. And sometimes, in as much as we want to be political, take our party side, I don't want us to be this genuine, to the Liberian people. Because NPR is a very nice station. And as far as I'm concerned, I want us to compete with the rest of the stations so that we can have, good listeners. But if we be, taking political sides and twist information, that doesn't go well. We don't have a perfect market forces. And I can tell you, when we talk about perfect market forces, we talk about where demand and supply interact to determine price. We talk about where the seller and the buyer. We talk about supply and the buyer. In Liberia, we only have one side that is demand. We don't have supply. We don't manufacture. We don't have the primary system. So nobody must, come to you and define market forces, in a way. There's nobody. I can give you one example now. The iPhone 12 Max Pro that we have for 1,002 or 1,004, you take it to Liberia now, nobody will buy it. Very few. You understand? But take that thing to market and say you sell it $50. You see the demand that will go for it. So we don't have a proper market force. So when we come up with things that affect Liberia, there are also choices, that people, when they listen to the show, some people will close their, their phone. We talk about things that are affecting the Liberian people. And I just wanted for you to be honest, I love NPR, I listen to them every day. But if we will not be able to tell people what affects them, and we'll be talking about judgment that some of us are not seen, or we just hear about it, then we'll be disingenuous to the Liberian people, won't be able to be honest and tell them the fact. I just want to declare with it. Say goodbye. I'll listen to you later.
So, okay, yeah, before you go, that's a rare me you throw out there. So, where are the innuendos, where are they coming from right now, Mr. Jackson, you think?
Well, let me be trying to tell you. The point what Emmanuel Gata was trying to say, look at what the condition of the people, no money in the bank. How do you expect the market forces to act when there's a large demand for people who want ordinary things? You don't think there will be high demand? So if you have to take a bag of rice for $10, and you are the only person who got a bag of rice, you know what you will do? You will see the price of not so, because you are the only person in the market. It's not like here. If you go buy rice, you get Chinese rice, you get Confucian rice, you get different rice. You have a choice. There's no choice for the people. The government is not creating any condition for the people. So this is why Emmanuel was trying to the post, so that things that affect the people. I don't want us, those of us who are educated to distort information. And this is where it's killing Nigeria. Those of us who went to school, we try to make things difficult for ordinary people. And we are not being honest to them. And if what we look at Liberia, people will say, oh, early this, all of that thing, but there was availability of things. I think on your show, one of the times I told you was that the best thing ever did was there was peace. And when there is peace and people move around, goods and services will move, easily. Now there are a lot of people who are afraid to go Liberia because of happy. Ordinary, COVID itself, it had to be signed by the higher up. Let me be trying to tell you. I have my brother that wanted to know something. You know what they told me? The man went to Finland and they had to wait for him before he can sign. In this country, it never happened. So even if I CDC man, I would go against CDC to say you haven't do the right thing. That's the only way.
Yeah, absolutely. That method, I mean, I think deputy minister have 3 persons director. That's waste of time. They need to find something to be doing. You need to find lab technicians, nurses, they give it to you, boom, and whatever you're supposed to get a result. But you have 3 signatures. I mean, come on. That's just something. Okay. Let me go to that.
Some allegations towards me. I wanted to clarify with him before he leaves.
Okay. Are you there, guys?
Yeah. Okay. Mr. I don't know who you need some allegations. I wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Sam, he was swinging at me.
Sam Jackson was
swinging at me. Yeah. You were speaking at me. You were speaking at me directly. So let me just make some corrections here. One. Let me take care of the first easy one. The process for the COVID testing is convoluted. It has to change. We need a very simplified process. So that's one instance where CDC is doing, if the government is doing something wrong, some of us are brave enough to criticize that. Now, but let me say something. When people come about, it's very interesting. I've been in this political thing for over 40 plus years. I think from the day I became the president elected for my junior high school, KRTTI demonstration school in Kakata in 1977. I can say that was my political birth. That's when I became very active into Liberian politics. And I learned a lot about how when you criticize the government will say your criticism is not constructive. They will always say they appreciate it, constructive criticism. But when everything you do is destructive. When you praise a government now, like those of us, if we identify some of the right things the government are doing, then we are disingenuous. I think people here listening understood the context within which I spoke when I was addressing what Mr. Zaza was saying. I indicated clearly to Mr. Zaza, he had a good point that there was a challenge for ordinary Liberian people when it came to paying their children tuition and finding food for their children. So indeed, they could vote in a way to show their resentment towards the powers that be. Where we differed is the same thing he just said here, Mr. Jackson. You take, for example, right now, what's going on with the exchange rate. There's a shortage of Liberian dollar in circulation. So what happens when you want to go and buy Liberian dollars? You pay more for it. Is that a government that made that decision? That's the market forces. That's a supply and demand issue. So when you come and say, Professor Zao, don't be disingenuous, you got your education, you want to mislead people. How am I misleading people? The supply and the demand. Supply of Liberian dollar market on Liberian dollars and the demand for Liberian dollar. Isn't that a supply and demand issue? Mr. Gray and Pa George and Mr. Opu, even Mr. Zada, don't you understand those to be supply and demand issue? People want us to join them in the decisions of this government so that they can applaud us. Now, you don't have to applaud me. I get applauded every day. So you don't I'm not misleading anybody. Let me boast to you. I got over 700 people every day who try to reach up to me to identify with me somewhere or the other on social media every day. So I don't need to join you in being critical of the government in instances where I don't think you have the facts. I don't need to join you. I don't need your recognition or your support. I think that Mr. Zaza and I, we had a frank exchange, and I think he understands where I disagree with him, and he understands where I agree with him. Okay, so there's nothing about disingenuous. Look, simple thing. I have two schools. I have an elementary school in Monrovia, and I have a high school in Kakata. If you talk about price control, then the fee should be set for how much money people should pay for education at my elementary school. It should be the same money they should pay for elementary school in Kakata. Is that the case? No. Why? Different type of goods make different types of demand. So it's based on the goods that is being supplied in this location and the demand for that good in this location that will dictate the price. So you cannot price a school in Kakata the same way you price a school in Monrovia. That's market forces that decide those things. So do we not have that situation in Liberia?
Background noise from you. Okay. Mr. Drobo?
Yes. Let me go back a little bit to the lady that called my Rachel, right? You know, I like her zeal. But I think she got some misleading information here when she always said that CDC never had a plan when it came to being, and they do not have a plan. And she thinks Samuel Tour is the problem. But can she talk about Imaria Shaw, that was one of the first people that the president appointed? Can she talk about Charles Burt? No. Can she talk about Two-Way Party? What made her think Two-Way Party have planned for the Liberian people that stay in office, in power for more than 100 and something years? What did they do? They claimed they were educated. Look at the University of Liberia. They built it for only they and their children. Can she criticize them?
No,
Can
but
she talk about that?
She didn't mention too.
Yeah, but she has never. Or she said CDC never had a plan, and so let it just be so the next person will come. Who the next person? Who is this next person she think will come? So I just wanted to clarify that. I like to support women, but I also want us to talk about the Liberian people. I don't want people to think, or when two-we party talk, the people who feel that that's their God's given right to lead the Liberian people. And so when they are not in leadership, which means everything is going down the hill. Like when Doe came, they said he never knew nothing. When Erin came, all hill, Liberia hill, everything was going good. And she drained the whole country economy now. And now she's saying CDC never had anything. When they were in power, two-we party, what was the level? How many Liberian indigenous people were educated? How many? What did they do? All the money. Who had the Oreo company? Thomas family. She talking about they never end. CDC has a plan and CDC is delivering. The only reason why CDC is striving, because for some of these people who feel that God gave them that right to lead Liberia, and when they are not in power, they will do all they can to strangulate the whole country. Like they brought a civil war, and more than I don't know how many millions or thousands of people died. But that's not going to happen. CDC is here to stay. CDC is here to stay.
Mr. Can I just say 1 minute?
Yeah, we are already out of time here.
Mr. Dobu.
And then Emmanuel before.
Yeah, Mr. So I was speaking before somebody called, and since I haven't come
Yeah,
back.
yeah, Emmanuel, speak, Mr. Gay, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. So. Like I was saying before the person called, I said the reason people blame the government that much, and I understand it, is that the government is struggling, but we won't see it. I was trying to get a video of where an international journalist was actually giving the figures of how much Ellen Sally Johnson government received from 2006 to 2015. According to that video, I will send a video and send it to you, Mr. So, and you will follow it. The woman said, according to the woman, she was the one who said 16 billion flow into the economy from 2006 to 2015. I'm not talking about 16 and 17. We were not out of there. Now, if you have a country like that, a small country with about 4 million people at the time, and 16 billion coming in, Mr. So, that's too much. You will not feel it struggling, because I can go to my uncle's office and you pay my way to come home.
Okay, so let me ask you a question here. I don't want to start this thing all over here. Do you think Helen Johnson Sirleaf, the Unity Party-led government, inappropriately misapply or misuse the funding from the international community?
Yes, Mr. So yes.
Yeah.
I can give you
okay, yeah. If the question is yes, why then this government here, even when we talk about audit alone, is just to verify and check to make sure things are in the right perspective. So why did the government did not even look at the box and say everything was okay and gave her 80%?
No, I listened to that video. He said, I gave Helen percent because she kept the peace. He gave a reason why he gave 80%. The video is there, you can read it.
So only the peace aspect. What other company?
He said because she kept the peace.
So what other component did he consider?
He may give a reason. He said because she kept the peace. So for him, because if you are grading somebody, even if you went to school before your GPA can count to 3 or 2, you must have done several courses. So he was saying for keeping the peace, he gave her 80%. He didn't say for
Do you think by just saying, do you think he jumped out of the shadow because the peace is a greater component, which of course is fine. But the financial strength of the country today is key, and that's what get us to be where we are today.
At the time when Ellen was in power, the financial strength of Labrador was still good because money was still coming in, so we didn't really see it. But Mr. So, if we actually go back to discuss Ellen's administration, which I had enough document on, before Ellen came to power, Labrador needed 80 million to run her government annually. Ellen came and made over 600 million available to her to start. What she did, she increased the budget because of that many money that were coming in, and she did not invest directly. She started paying people.
Manuel, let me ask you a question.
Let's do this. I gotta be wrapping all here. George, go ahead quickly, and I'll have your closing comments.
You all these figures you put in, I had done some research. It is true, but what if? Let me just trying to repeat what Mr. So said. You put in all these figures of what this and that, it didn't have this and that.
Yeah.
The question here is, what the president will do
That's
to make hold on now.
Okay, sorry. Why?
You come with all these figures.
Talking right now.
Just day for yesterday, I heard Wilson Tappet on the radio in Marufia that 16 billion, 15, 16 billion walk out of Liberia. The question they're asking, you got evidence? You say, yes, we have evidence. The next question, why aren't you retrieving this morning? What Wilson Tappet said, the president is not that type of person. He just want to leave the problem and go and solve it. When the country is strapped and you got evidence that money failed the country, and you say, because the president doesn't want to talk, he just want to solve the problem. How can he solve the problem when that kind of money is out of the country?
Thank you.
And hold on now, to my sister Ward.
I don't want to answer the question. Let me address my point while I leave. Because the time is running out and the man want to close on us. For me, in my case, the failure of this government that I can point to, number one, the government has refused to tackle corruption. The government told us the very first thing, the very first play my failure, my disappointment in the government started was when NOCA were investigated. Nobody was punished. They came out and set up a asset recovery team that they said we're going to go after 4 billion. Up to today, 1 million hasn't come out of that team that was put together. That's the failure of the government. So when it comes to fighting corruption and going after the past regime, the government have failed on that one very largely, I must tell you. But I'm telling you, the reason the government will always be looked at as bad by the common man on the ground is that the money that they're supposed to depend on to do things, they are refusing to get the money, and they are not even receiving money from anywhere. So everybody will continue to blame them that they're not doing well. But the money, what happened in the past, not having it now, so we'll struggle.
Why are they not getting money?
Like I said, because the government had not tackled corruption. If they had tackled corruption, maybe it was going to open a way for other people to believe that the poor are ready and send more money. The poor are holding back their money because they don't see any reason why they should send money when they send more money in the past and nothing happened. And you don't want to go after the people. If you give me 400, let's say for instance, you bring me on your show now, it's a privilege that you brought me on your show. If I come now on your show and misbehave, other people will watch me, they don't want to get me on that show. They say, that man want Mr. Social, this is what he did. So because the past government did things wrongly and the government is not willing to prosecute them, other governments are afraid to give that money because if they give that money, nothing come out of it.
Who has to be held liable? The government, right?
That's what I'm saying. The past government.
Okay, so then we'll come back to the point. Pat George, go ahead. So before we
here's my issue here. When I see people continue to repeat this thing, the past government got this and that, they were corrupt, this and that. And the present government is failing to do anything about it. Why can sit down and complain here? Now, the sister that spoke, she mentioned some people's names. She talked about Bright and Maiwa Shaw. But my sister Bright and Maiwa Shaw are sitting right in the president's office right now as we speak. They are sitting right now in person.
Yeah, I'm saying, why is she not talking about them? Why is she talking about 12?
Hold on.
As governor of inclusion.
Hold on. Because you going to attack certain people because that the two party did not do that. You talk about Bright then. But Bright and Maiwa Shaw are right in your personal office. But since they are there, then you talk about government inclusion. But when on the other side, you don't talk about government inclusion. That's why you indicate it. So here's the thing. If we want to be sincere and genuine,
some of the lie is really what you think. Yeah, go ahead.
I got that here.
No,
I just love my, but this is what I'm saying. Maiwa Shaw allegedly sold the Liberian plane during the war. Allegedly sold it. And this is the person we have brought. Right. Yeah. But then let me go back to Akaya Gray now. I just want to mention that to you. Akaya Gray is saying that people have hijacked the party, their jobs and things. But it's the same Akaya Gray interview saying that Samuel Trainer should consult David Faha, Natalia Banks, all the ex-former minister during Ellington. That Samuel Trainer that Samuel Trainer should go and interview those people. To ask them for help. Then is that Gray contradicting? He said that one. I talk about Gray.
No.
Okay.
These are people accused. They accused people in the past that they did or robbed the country. Now, if these people rob the country, these are finance ministers he's talking about. That people in government. Now, but he's suggesting that the person finance minister should go back to do it again. Why?
I think let me water the thing down the road here. This
I
whole,
think
let me go, Professor, before you come in, let me go to the line here.
Can I come in here?
Yeah, we can. You got to work on your system. Your system been going. Oh, let me go to the line here. I give her a minute to make a point, and then I will come back to you. Hello, caller, are you there?
You're not gonna go up now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Again, I'm back because the lady made a statement saying that she likes to empower women, but women should say what is right. I can't remember what was the Tui party or whatever. Maybe I was young, or maybe I was alive. Maybe I wasn't alive. I will research that. But this is my thing with this government. Just because somebody who stole in the past and you come there, or new person comes and the stealing, you will always go back. This is what I said to somebody, and I'm going to repeat it to her. What was the purpose of them killing all these people in 1980 on the book of corruption? We had due process. What was the purpose of killing them? Taking people from the children and the wives. What was the purpose of killing them? But you're saying indigenous. So indigenous criminals are more valuable than the Congo criminals? Because it's the same criminal act right here. If you kill innocent people, well, you'll never get due process. So now the indigenous came there, they stealing clearly, or because you're a countryman, so they're against it. No, it's not. We need to start this when the country go forward. I don't know the minors, so I don't know all the people. If you're around the president is only broader than this. If you see they're not right for you, then you should take them out. But again, these are the reasons why the president has to work, because some people believe that, oh, the country people, they come up against the countrymen because it's in power.
No. I will down the line.
Using a patient, I must document whatever I'm using their reputation or the medication or whatever I do with them if I go on. The next person I will come, that will go over my notes and then go over and make that over note and sign on it. Because these people are in the problem. They don't know.
Okay.
What was the last person who did it? And that's the same thing. If we have seen like this country was corrupt before he spoke over, why did he order the first people that were there? Why does he do that? Because you know why? Because he himself are going to do the same thing. That's why he ain't have to order them. So you're not be fair. Either again, I'm gonna say either you leave or you leave. That's the bottom line. That's what I think.
All right. Thank you so much.
The Tory party, whoever party, I don't care about all those people in the past. We're talking about present. We're in the 21st century. They kill people for corruption, but then let us say the government speak and we will care for him. I say that. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so look, Professor Zauro. Hello, are you there?
Mr. Gay has been trying to speak, so
yeah, it's the assistant been killing him. So
I think he said assistant.
Yeah, Gay, are you there? Something I don't know. I'm getting some feedback. Are you hearing me?
I think Anthony wants to speak too.
Yeah, but I'm back now. You can give me this one now.
You can speak.
Anthony, are you hearing me?
All right, yes.
Anthony's system has a problem still.
You
Yeah,
can't
because the system can't hear you.
Yeah, you see. You say you keep on technician. How can your phone?
I forget it tomorrow.
Your phone giving crocodile. Yeah, are you hearing me?
Put your phone behind your back. Put your phone on your back and try it. See it. It will work.
The ANC phone. Are you hearing Anthony? Okay, I think actually he stopped. Okay, so here is the deal here. From what I see, honestly, we're blaming the Samuel Tuer, the Nathaniel Magee, and whoever for no reason. The president is the one that is in charge of the country. Anything goes wrong, he will be held accountable. He appoints, he has the constitutional authority to appoint and to dismiss. He is the one to cross-examine, to review the work of his ministers, directors, and people that work with him. For come on, let's see it. Let's say it as it is. So if these people, we will judge them based on our own opinions and views and things that we see out there. But the president sees a different way. Maybe the president found out that these people are performing. That's why they are in his state. I remember Samuel Doe. There was a major financial meltdown, Professor. You know that. And when it came to the disappearance of this money at Finance Ministry, what happened? Samuel Doe took a high stand. Having Guy Yoon was removed immediately or sent to with Matthew Zaza and all of that. So if the president still feel that these people are doing the work and for which they are still in those positions today, there is no need for us to blame those people. Then it is the president that is keeping them. I think fair.
The thing about it is that those guys are doing a phenomenal job. They have their own weaknesses. They have their own challenges, as Mr. Zaza here alluded to. But the only thing I would disagree with Mr. Zaza is that the reason why money is now flowing has nothing to do with the lack of a proper stewardship of the funds being given to government. It has more to do with the global economic downturn. The global economic downturn is affecting even developed countries and our traditional development partners. So it has strain-related their ability to provide the kind of support that they have been providing in the past. That's why money is now flowing as we expect. It has nothing to do with the government's inability to manage the funds. Quite to the contrary. The IMF and the World Bank just issued a report recently in which they praised the Liberian government for taking the steps necessary to improve the Liberian economy. Now, when Honorable Gray spoke and said that the Minister Tue should invite the participation, the former finance minister, it's a very smart suggestion. It's a very smart suggestion. We should be applauded by all Liberians. These people have been in that position. They have been there when times were good. Some of them have been there when times were bad. The culmination of their ideas could help Minister Tue build
Folks, I'm not picking up no phone call right now. Go ahead.
To move forward. And so that's why they are suggesting. So I think that's a wise thing to do. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is that, look, yes, it starts and ends with the president. We understand that. And I think the president has to take needed action to do something. But at the moment, ordinary Liberians are struggling. They're struggling. I'm an educator, and so I always give you information in connection to education. There are several high schools in Kakata, Magidi County today. They open their doors today. They could not have classes. No students. Even the government school could not have classes today because the students could not afford to pay the $2,000 or $3,000 that they have been asked to pay to go to the high school. So we are in a very tough economic time, and the president has to take the necessary action to bring in the right people to be able to get something for our economy.
Okay, folks, we're going to put the curtain down here. Let me just go around. Pa Joyce, your final statement, Emmanuel, and then I'll come to Mrs. Gopo for us to wrap it up.
Yeah, look, I just want to say this. We all know there are global economic issues around the world, but that should not be used for, that is an excuse for Liberian behavior. Okay, and I want to say this. All the ministers, most of the ministers that the list on this, they all working, they were all on Ellen Johnson's salary, except for Dr. Fahar. But one time I even listened to Dr. Fahar. He said that the government, they don't even consult them. And one time he said they met and made a suggestion, but the government did not even take those suggestions into account. And Minister Amara, how many budget shortfall we have on Amara Conan in Liberia? How many budget shortfall? But Gray cannot have it both ways. If Gray accusing people for hijacking the party, they accusing the former government of corruption, but then at the same place you want to go to, you want help from again. How do we reconcile these things here? Those are the issues sometimes I have with the people. Because when you're going after the people, but then at the same place you say you want help from again. So how can you work with these people sincerely when you're accusing them?
All right.
So, I mean, I'm just Gray Akaya Gray, he just want to be in the news for his side to continue to have that base support within the CDC, so they can figure that he's champion the cause. But for me, I doesn't buy into Gray statement.
All right, thank you so much for Tony. Not Tony. Emmanuel, what's your final closing argument? Unmute your mic. I'm not hearing you.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. You know, my final statement will have to go to the professor. In 1990, actually, specifically when the world decided to forgive the debts of people, Labrador listed that have debt waiver.
Not picking call now. We offer the net. Go ahead.
I had to go Labrador listed, but even before Labrador debt were waived, the government has to meet certain criteria. So what I'm saying, if even government will help Liberia, the government of Labrador has to demonstrate that they are willing to fight corruption, but at least fighting those that they know that corrupted the country in the past. There are documents to prove that people were corrupt. The earliest and the auditing commission, they have people names there who did things that hurt this country. The government knows about it. They don't want to go after the people. So the point is, if you are not willing to even prosecute people that you know, if we get you other money now, how are we sure that you're actually going to manage it rightly and not go by the same way the other people mismanage it? So when you don't demonstrate the will, then the windows will close. That's what I mean. I'm not saying that was actually responsible, but I'm saying it is the likely fact that you must at least demonstrate it. You must meet certain criteria for the people to say, oh yes, I agree. Like you said, the president, the government, that's true. I have been president of the government. But the point here, how is it affecting the government on the ground? I support that judge here. But are the people on the ground understanding the way we understand it when it comes to the theoretical aspect of it? No, it had to be practical. Let the man feed it. Then they will speak it out. That's what I meant. Thank you.
Okay, so Mrs. Drobo.
Oh yeah, Mr. So thank you for having me. Thank you so much, the LPR family. But what I would like to say tonight, I would like to leave with our viewers tonight is that Liberia is going through some trying times, but things will definitely be okay. This is not the first time that we have gone through this level of hardship. We are resilient people. We are people who are very courageous, who will fight and we make sure that Liberians are taken out of poverty. As Emilia rightly said, we have a lot of challenges. We do. But let us not also forget to know that Liberian people, with everything that is going on, people are still trying to keep their heads above waters. We should also realize and talk about the good things that are happening. Why it is true that the laymen will always be angry because they are used to business as usual. You go to work, you get your cut. I mean, the money is circulating. That's what people used to. But in order for us to leave from this place, we got to go through these difficult times. And then we present a solution that this will not be the pattern of our economy. So again, Mr. So, thank you for having me. And I hope to be here another time to contribute. Thank you.
Absolutely. Professor Zawo?
I think I spoke already. I think time is 5:20. So I just want to say thank you to you and thank to the listening audience. It was a pleasure being here, and it's always a pleasure being here.
Okay, well, that's how we're going to put a curtain. On Wednesday, I will be hosting. Senator Marsha Dennis could not come on, but I sent an email to you guys. You received the emails, his report.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I don't know. I didn't see anything. I saw email.
I didn't.
I don't know what you received it, right, Professor?
Yeah, I got an email. Yeah.
Okay, I think I gotta double check and send it to you guys, Pat George and Constant, before I can bring him on. He canceled today because he was sick. Actually, he called. When I called, he was in the hospital. He just returned. But I think his report is very much. I don't want to make a judgment on it, but very detailed, very comprehensive. If you had the time to review it, I don't know how many of our folks doing that, our lawmakers. I mean, from whole year from the beginning of the term to the end, and everything is outlined as to how his number of appearance in the house, voting, and all of that. I mean, that's encouraging because that's something we can hold on instead of people coming in from television and saying, "Oh, I will do this, I will do this," and empty talk and all of that. It doesn't make sense to me. But I will be hosting the former Deputy Police Chief, Ibrahim Kalulu Kroman, former Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia. He's going to be appearing on Wednesday. We want to be talking on other things, other components, other things that are happening in the country. We are opening up to our viewers. Let us know. And we want to let people know here, people that are coming up here to analyze, to give their view, they are not representing political institutions. They are not as a direct proxy of these people to come and speak to them. So we ask them because of the goodness of our country and their own associations, out of their own volition came out, I am affiliating with XYZ party. And so we just want to dip into their mind, how they think and what is going on. So it would be unfair for people to crucify people, what they believe in, their views, their opinion. I think it's unfair. You listen to the Sierra Leonean VOA guy that we hosted here yesterday. I mean, it was crystal clear. But I think when we bring authenticity and some sort of genuine, even if we support a party and the party is not doing certain things, we must be able to have that courage to say, hey, I support this institution, but this one here is not working. And that's how you help your leader. You can't be a help your person until, and I think Akara's great in as much he loves the camera, but I think he's coming out to speak, and I hope the president will listen. You know, I don't hope, because at the end of the day, the boss talk is with him. If he doesn't do it the right way, we all going to crucify him in terms of not putting the proper mechanism in place to get the country to run. Until then, well, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget the lady now.
Yeah, oh, never do that. That's what I'm coming from. Which is Liverpool. I want to thank you so much. Nothing to tell you guys. I think the professor, he get a really thick skin. We got people that kind, what kind of professor? But you know, that's it. If you don't know somebody, you just don't know them. And unfortunately, we can't change the minds of the people. I disagree on with some things that you said, but you know what? We have to respect people's views, their opinion. And the more we talk and talk, we can find a common solution. You know, and hopefully we can do that. We just created a chat room for LPR. WhatsApp, and people that have it will add in there to see what they can bring in. And that was a good idea. I just got from this guy, even though we got a messenger chat room from our colleague from the Voice of Sierra Leone. And I'm going to learn other new things too to see what we can do. But believe me, the civility on that network, if you listen to Voice of Sierra Leone online, the civility professionals, the opposition to the government, the advocate, professional people that go there, they argue, they talk, but their tone is so direct, it's so specific. It's all about the country.
I
don't see them scoffing and all of that.
No, Mr. So what happened is because, and like empathy, if I don't talk to Professor Zawo to know the sound of the story, and he hear my own, then how can he feel for me? Probably because when I talk to Professor Zawo, there's something there I'm going to learn from him. And when he talks to me, there's something he's going to learn from him. So with that, we can move forward. But if we do not figure that Professor Zawo is a citizen, so therefore I cannot talk to Professor Zawo, then how can we move forward?
Mr. So let me just tell you one last thing what happened to me on New Year Day. There's this one kid. He's an ANC, I think ANC youth leader in Makibi County. He had called me some time ago, you know, and just told me, oh, Mr. Zawo, I heard about you, you know, and I just wanted to get to know you. And from time to time, sometimes I write something, he disagree with it, he will, you know, send me a message or so. And a group of people telling me, oh, don't listen to that kid, he rude, he think he, whatever he is. New Year Day, one of the best messages I got from Liberia was from that one kid. He's not a citizen, he's from the ANC party. He called me, and it was just heartwarming. He and I disagree on our vision for Liberia, but we were able to have a very good conversation. And I'm still impressed by the kind of thing I heard. So this is not war. It's disagreement on procedure. That's what it is. So people don't get it. But you see, they can't damage me. They make me stronger every day.
And that's why when did I really quit from this whole political party thing here? One of those elections we went to Nima and they all votes. In fact, there's a lady right now having serious one, and it was a big fight during Taylor Town. After water, the wasted. If anybody heard that story from my campaign from Habe and Nima, it was easy. And I look at it, you know what? This party is not worth Even
That's
today.
right.
Yesterday we were talking about CDC. This we are. Tomorrow, CPP, WPP come to power. The same old damn thing we're going to be experiencing. These people, they are so dishonest. They don't like the concrete. Everybody won't go in government to loot and enrich themselves. And that's why some of them, you call them, they can't take definitive position. They know where to go and not to go. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. Have a pleasant evening.
All right, man. Good night, then.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
All right, folks, that's how we're going to bring the curtain down here this evening. Thank you so much for being part of today's program. By God's willing, same time, same station, we're going to be right back here again with more information, entertainment, and news making headlines in Liberia. Until then, thank you for your time, your comments, your view. If you have any suggestion, just throw it into our LIB messenger or even our own personal Facebook page. And, ladies and folks, boys, girls, goodwill Liberians, there are a lot of issues affecting the country, social issues as well. And that's give the problem to the political issues. We need to be talking about those things. If you have any suggestion, things that you want us to talk about, let us know. If you want to be part of our talking point here, to be live on the video, let us know. We are not selected. We don't just only give it to a politician. We believe everyone, each and all of us, we all have something into this year. So we all have to find a common ground. But until we can maintain civility, the conversation, I must listen to me. You must listen to me. Convince me that this is not a blue shirt. This is not a white shirt. It's not a gray vest. Convince me. And believe me, you will get me over. So the idea, the opposition, the government people, I can't talk to sedition because they will not listen. Government people, I will not talk to opposition because they can't listen. Come on, who are they? They are Liberian. What happens if you become a president or you become a leader tomorrow before you go to them and explain and give justification why you never want to listen to them? It's wrong. We are so deadly with our own politics. It requires tolerance. If you want to be a politician, you have to exercise maximum tolerance. Get ready to receive the kitchen sink and all of the red meat. A small thing, some people say a little thing, that everybody bursts into flame. That's ridiculous. Thank you so much and have a pleasant evening.
God love praising. It is everything. The worshiping.